Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. So this video is not a day in the life because I'm actually going to Miami to meet some creative friends, actually going to do a little bit of business there, go to some meetings as well. It's not a typical week, but I was going to Florida anyway. I got a cheaper flight, going to spend some time in Miami and we'll see how it goes. So I've never actually been away for 5 weeks, so I was going to America for about a month. It was like January time, cold, wet and miserable in the UK. And I just thought, you know what, I need to change up my environment. Work's very busy. In fact, this has come around so quick, I've not really even thought about it. I'm on about 4 hours sleep, 2 days in a row, so I'm definitely gonna sleep on the plane. We're gonna try and find a lounge, because my mindset nowadays is that I've gotta work on this trip, so if I can even get 1 or 2 hours of deep work done, it's worth me paying for a lounge or seeing if I can use access to a lounge. I was debating going to Mexico for a team social and just to work remotely from Mexico. I heard good things about Tulum and Playa del Carmen. And I saw that from Miami, the flight from Mexico is like 2 hours and it's very affordable. So anyway, to travel to the US on an ESTA, you have to have your return flight already booked. So basically got to the desk to give my luggage and had to make a decision on the spot. Am I going to stay after America and go to Mexico, which would mean my trip is about 8 to 9 weeks. Decided to do it. So yeah, we're going to Mexico as well. A quote that has served me well in life and also business with any unexpected problem is there's no such thing as a problem, there is only solutions. And so now we're going to Mexico for 4 weeks. In Miami, I'm going to be seeing my friend Guy. He's going to be my tour guide, showing me around. It's been amazing, so excited to see him. So I met him last year at a business mastery event, Tony Robbins event. And then I'm really excited because one main reason to come to Miami is to see Greg Isenberg. So he's an incredible entrepreneur, bit of a mentor to me the last year. And yeah, honestly, I'd fly to Miami just to see Greg, so I'm super excited to see him. And then secondly, you're going to be meeting up with the 2 co-founders of Castmagic, which is an incredible AI tool. I'm just really grateful that these people are going to be sort of opening their calendars to me and basically co-working with them and just hopefully seeing a bit of what Miami has to offer. Okay, so first full day in Miami. So I met up with my friend Guy yesterday, had a really wholesome chat, just talking about music, culture, him living in Miami since he was younger. And we had a really good chat about social media and how we both have an aversion to using our phones, hating what it's doing to us. And I think it's really important to reflect on like how much we all use technology. Social media has to be a tool. But the amount of times I open my phone, if you go onto your digital wellbeing app on iPhone or Android, you can see we open our phones like 70, 80 times a day. We use social media for 4 hours a day. It's crazy. And we've got to question what that's doing for us. Like I have definitely benefited from building a network online. You know, my whole career has started from basically using social media, but I just, you know, it really mashes my brain. And we know from our parents, grandparents, different generations, like obviously they had their problems too. They don't use social media. Like I literally imagine for like 2 weeks not using social media and just being in the real world. This is my biggest thing this year is just to be, you know, live an interesting life, be successful offline, and then to document it online, because then you're just sharing what you're doing already. You're not creating this fake persona online. And I've never done that, but it's always on my mind right now. It just feels like empty calories, and it's all about meaningful conversation. It's about having true connection with people. And yeah, I'm just reflecting on that a lot right now. Like I'm sat here journaling, about to eat some food, about to get into my next Airbnb and want to enjoy Miami today. And yeah, already feeling good that I've come here, just took action. Seeing it as an investment, it's not cheap to be somewhere like Miami, and I'm mostly just going to be sightseeing. It's not really spending money out in bars or clubs or anything like that. Us in the UK, we're definitely just sun deprived, and I've definitely been sleep deprived. Okay, just got to my Airbnb, which I'm going to be staying at a week, so let me show you this. Oh my god, this looks such a cool place. I'm so excited. Let's have a look. And then look at this apartment and look at this view. Oh my god, look at this. Gonna enjoy sitting there and doing some work. Let's see if I can get outside. Oh my god, the weather as well. There's a pool down there which I can use. There's also a gym as well in the building, overlooking Brickell. You can see the American Airline Arena over there as well. I come from a very small town, and honestly this is just such a culture shock, seeing places which are so expansive and large. is just fascinating to me. And I think we all need that exposure, whether it's America, whether it's other places in the world, Southeast Asia. Everything's relative, right? So until you see bigger ponds, you don't know sometimes how small of a bubble you're actually living in. It's actually been really cool to stay at an Airbnb again where you stay with the host. So I'm with this lovely couple. They were out all day, went to the beach, came back, said hi. And they've got a really cool apartment, very functional. Like I'm literally on like a sofa bed. And they've got a balcony. And they're just like leaving me alone. I'm just leaving them alone. And it made me think about my first Airbnb trip. I've literally done 20 trips to Airbnb. I've seen Morocco, Spain, Ireland, Italy, all these different places thanks to Airbnb. It's unbelievable. But anyway, off to downtown Miami to see Guy, my friend. We're going to a bar apparently to watch Flamengo play, which would be awesome. To see my buddy Greg Isenberg in Brickell, heading to a rooftop bar to get some food and drinks. Really excited that he's made the time and excited to catch up with him. And I'll bring you along on the journey. What is up? This is my debut with the vlog. Live from Miami.
Live from Miami. Joe Gannon.
It's not as hot as I thought it'd be. Today?
The night is young.
Is the night young? I've got my info. Okay, this is absolutely mad. Rosa Sky in Miami, it's just opened up, so let me show you around. So Greg, what advice would you give to me for my business?
You gotta pick a niche, man. You gotta pick a niche. It's tough, right? Because you're amazing at amplifying creators, amplifycreators.com, shout out. But it's really important to be the X guy or X girl, right? Like I'm the podcast person, I'm the video podcast person. I just think that if you just, now that you have experience like building in amplifying a bunch of different ways, thinking about how you could pick the one lane of how you can double down in that lane, and maybe that's podcasting, maybe that's short form. And I think just doubling down into that, people think about niching down. It's like, oh, well, my market's gonna be 5% of the size, a tenth of the size. But what they don't realize is that you're gonna 2x, 3x your business, because people are gonna be, the word of mouth is gonna be so much higher. People are gonna be like, oh yeah, I know Joe, he's amazing at this.
Like if you were gonna refer us to people, what would you even say? Because in general, social media now, I don't know what you think, but even the word content or creator is getting so ambiguous. What does content mean? Social media. So I'd say we work with creators and founders, but they're two different avatars. This is how we're gonna get more serious, I think, this year. And you think video podcasts?
I mean, I'm a believer in video podcasts, so many people reach out to me that listen to my podcast or watch my podcast, and I don't even have a big podcast, the biggest podcast in the world, but the fact that someone like me could start something, and I only have 14,000 YouTube subscribers, and my average video will get 3,000 or 4,000 views, but 25 people reach out to me. It's so impactful because people are watching this when they're home at night or listening to it when they're commuting during the day. So they almost become the friends that you didn't know you had. Short form is great at getting views, but long form is great at building trust.
Obviously, clear writing is clear thinking. So what's the difference been for you personally going from mostly using Twitter to write versus going into podcasts and YouTube?
It's not natural for me. I'm not a video person. I'm a keyboard warrior, but it's a new skill set. It's a new sport, right? It's I like to play tennis, but a lot of people invite me to play pickleball, and I'm I don't want to play pickleball because I know I'm going to get it's kind of same but different. I know I'm not going to be that good in it, but sometimes you have to start from scratch, and that's what I did with video podcasts. It's taken me 2+ years to actually feel like I'm getting somewhere. That's how I feel about it. It's been a progressive learning experience, and it's finally starting to pay off.
You said it's about to interest in the podcast has gone like that.
Do you think going from an audio-only podcast, because you're in your basement, right? Like the classic tweet, you're in your basement and in the closet. Do you think video podcast or bringing your brand to life, like what's been the impact of that? Do you feel like you get more interest? You got interest already though, but is it different kind of interest?
Treating your podcast as a show, not a podcast. That's like the big mental shift. Once I started treating it as a show, meaning there needs to be good branding, there needs to be a good YouTube page, there needed to be content that supported the show. The show needed to. What is a show? Show, it means you're entertaining. It needs to be entertaining. My old podcast was just like every other interview podcast. I would just interview people, and the truth is I wasn't the best interviewer. Like there's better people to interview. Like Tim Ferriss is amazing at interviewing people. Lex Friedman is amazing at interviewing people. So I just like niche down. I took my own advice, and now I just talk about startup ideas. First of all, it makes me happier because I'm like doing the thing I love, and it also makes me stand out in a show-like format where, okay, during this show, we're going to talk about 5 startup ideas, and the audience member knows, or the listener knows, or the watcher knows they're going to get 5 startup ideas. They might not love every startup ideas, but it'll get their creative juices flowing, and that's all I want. So the other thing is create a show, but also create an outcome. What's the outcome that you want people to have?
I love it. Greg Isenberg in Miami, sponsored by Fiji. So I'm heading to Miami Beach and I cannot believe that it is raining. I can't believe it. This is literally like being in England, except you don't usually see boats like that in the UK. So I'm off to the Soho House to see one of the co-founders of Castmagic, a really cool guy called Blaine. Really excited. He was going to show me around Miami Beach, around South Beach, because he lives around here, but I guess in the rain that won't be possible. I'm hoping I can see the beaches before I leave on Sunday. Okay, so you were literally just saying about getting a month of clearance for all of the ideas we've discussed about the business.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is just building up some pipeline, because when you built your pipeline and you've already produced what needs to be done for like next week and the week after and the week after that, all of a sudden you have clearance to go attack like the structural operational things that you want to unlock. But when you're a creator, you're on this kind of like content hamster wheel. You always need to ship the next piece of content that's going out today and tomorrow and the day after. So like if you build up your pipeline, then all of a sudden you have clearance to like go after and attack the more strategic things. So I think that's kind of what you want to do.
Yeah, so you're talking about that for content creation, but all of the ideas you've said to me today about even like building a recruitment agency for creators today, all the different levels of the business, but then my feet right now are with the current problems in the firefighting.
Exactly.
So with like business operations, how have you carved out that time? Is it just, as you say, split focus for a month, saying no to more things as well?
Yeah, it's sprinting on things. It's like putting things in sprint and making sure you just get it done. And then when it's done, then you have time to like go attack all the other problems.
A benefit of an agency being cash flow, I was toying with the idea of it, like kind of just like not worrying financially for a couple of months of the business and just carving that time out. I think it's financial. Like I want to just keep everything in order right now, but that will keep us as to where we are. Or have you done in the past of your businesses just like giving yourself even like the runway financially to do a sprint? If the money was fine, I would just say to the current team, we're not going to take any more work on. I'm going to disappear for a month and do this work. Do you have any like examples of when you've done that or advice?
Yeah, like we actually do a quarterly meeting with our team, and like our work, like sure we have day-to-day work that needs to be done, but that kind of gets put aside in favor of the more strategic work that you're thinking in terms of quarters, and like what are the 5 initiatives that if I get done by the end of the year, like we're going to be in a really good place. So I think it's a mix of like the short-term thinking in terms of the constant execution that you need to do, but then how do you like step back and make sure you're constantly checking in on like I need to hit these longer term initiatives, otherwise I'm going to be in the same place that I am a year from now and I'm going to like fuck, why didn't I figure that out?
Yeah, our goals for this year were my goals for last year.
Exactly.
And it's just frustrating.